Hello.
Talking. Okay.
Had some mic issues, so we're glad to see that it's working now. Yeah, no kidding. That's okay.
Yeah. Hey, are we allowed to park at the church parking lot? They're towing signs up there.
Oh, do they? Maybe they put it up because of us. Maybe we've abused that.
That's why
Are they
been to the
new?
past couple TV meetings, because I drive out, I can't find a place to park.
All right, let's get going. Reward those that are here on time. I'm sure there's some people that come in. Welcome. I guess we're the few that are, we're going to say we are the ones that are most in need of a vacation because everyone else is out on vacation for spring break. You just got back? Where'd you go? To Cozumel? Awesome. I love cruises. So you're new. We're going to spotlight you real quick. Tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself.
My name is Whitney Allred.
Is
I'm Whitney Allred.
that working? Can you guys hear that?
Hello.
Yeah, that's
I'm
weird.
Whitney Allred, 27. Got my real estate license. I live in Eagle Mountain.
Excellent. Why did you get into real estate? Okay, that's working.
It's time for a change.
Time for a change.
And my mom has been in home loans since I was like 3. So she's an underwriter, and so is my sister. Been in that world for a long
Awesome.
time. And my mom's been pushing me to do mortgages, and I don't want to work at a desk.
Yeah.
And I only want to do real estate.
Well, welcome. The newest person here, is there actually, who else is new as of the last month? Right here. Tell us your name. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, I'm Catherine. I am originally from Hawaii, and I'm really young. I'm 21, and I'm just getting started.
Awesome.
Happy to be here.
Excellent. Welcome. We are grateful that you guys are here. And okay. So one of the things that I want to, let's do this one real quick because who can tell us what this is? What's the values here in priority here for Keller Williams here? Someone just shout it out. God, family, business. One thing that I think is very important, and maybe other people are exercising that right now, being on vacation or something, but something we need to make sure that we're doing is focusing like what's something that energizes you and builds you up? Real estate. You're one of those people that's like just work and that energizes me, so you end up like just working all the time. Yep, I think that's awesome. But whatever that is, it's something that I've had to like stop and think for a minute. So hopefully if you need, take 2 seconds and take a self inventory and say, are you doing anything for yourself? Do you have any hobbies that, or something that you are spending some time for yourself because you need to energize your own batteries? You need to fill yourself up to help everyone else out. And that's what we're in the service business. We're in the business of helping other people. And it's very hard to do that if we feel depleted. Anyone else resonate with that? Yeah. Can I get an amen? Oh, just kidding. Yeah, there we go. Nice. All right. I know you do. We've got, let's see, mortgage minute. Do we have our lender in the house? Brant Money, do you have a mortgage minute? What would you say? What do we need to know about interest rates right now? Is probably the biggest topic that we've been hearing. What can you tell us about that we need to know?
Yeah, they're high. Rates are high. You're talking
The-
conventionals, you're probably in your 5%, mid fives. So actually what we're doing now, and even though I don't like to, we are talking about adjustable rates with clients. So 5-year fix, then adjust, 7-year fix, then adjust, 10-year fix, then it will adjust. So hopefully by then rates will be back down. But right now it's, by doing that, it's saving them 0.5%. So $200-300 in payment is kind of what we're looking at right now. So hopefully something will correct, but right now just stupid high. So, and then Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are coming out with more appraisal, kind of not waivers, but like desk reviews instead of a full appraisal. Since there's just such a huge shortage with appraisers, we're starting to see a lot more stuff to be done like in-house and quicker than what we are used to. So those are two of the biggest probably changes going on, but yeah, so.
Awesome. I love that. There's a lot of changes. We're going to talk more about that today. A few of the market things going on.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
There's been some talk about rates. Do you think this is temporary? Do you think like 18 months from now, we're gonna see
I hope.
back into the threes?
Yeah, well, with inflation, with rates, with purchase prices going up, I mean, we're squeezing 80% of the market out. So there's got to be some correction. I don't know what that's going to be. I really can't see them staying this high for more than 6 months to a year, just because then nobody else is going to be able to buy. Like there's just, but no, if I knew what the market was doing, I'd be a rich guy. So don't listen to me.
I have a question. Do you have something that you could, I mean, I'm sure I can get on the list about like when rates change or what's like.
Yeah, we I can set something up for you, or there's plenty of third party there's MBS and stuff like that you can sign up for to get highlights, but I get them sent to me so I can just put you on an auto forward for all the updates and stuff. So not a problem.
I'm just saying, because you're like a broker, so you do a lot of different.
Correct. Yeah, so I get like 4 or 5 different market updates from the wholesale channel a day. So, and I can put you on a forward list. That's not hard.
Excellent. Thank you. So this is a conversation we're gonna keep going with after we finish up with awards, but I'm excited to talk a little bit about the market and some perspective around that. So stay tuned with some of that. We're gonna cover a little bit of that more in detail. A few things coming up. I'm gonna breeze through some of this because you should have this on an email, but if you haven't seen that, just kind of make you aware, and then also looking for details. You can look through the email that you should have gotten on yesterday. So Tech Bar, we've got Tuesdays from 2 to 3. I want to make sure that you guys know all of anything we can help you with in tech. The shift book, we're going to be focusing on this because it is very prevalent now. I think if you're not thinking shift somewhere in your mind, you need to be thinking that. And so we have this book club. If you're going to be a part of any book club right now, this is probably a really good one. Shift book is one of my favorites. To me, it's kind of the companion to the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. But what it does is it focuses exactly on how do you grow your business and develop a thriving business in a shifting market. And if any of the signs are showing shift, we're seeing that now, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But this is a good opportunity.
Is the book club discussion going to be like, can we zoom into it, or is it just going to be in person?
It is in person. Take advantage of Creator Studio how-tos. Did I just, okay. Death by Chocolate. This hopefully should be on your radar if you're participating. This is coming up this week. So continue to invite your people to that so you can get, and you should already have your tickets. If there's any questions or any of that, and around Death by Chocolate, you can come and find us. Next week, we have Mike Hicks. He is talking on the Promise Script. This guy is, he's kind of the godfather of the Promise Script, which basically is how do you get more referrals out of your database. This guy was one of those that was up on stage with Gary Keller and for kind of figuring out how he does this. And one of the things that I remember Gary saying is he called this guy really boring. It's like, you, in a loving way, he's like, how are you doing so much business? I thought you had to be this charismatic, amazing real estate person. And this guy is, I mean, I sat next to him at family reunion this couple months ago, and he's not pleasant, but he's also just not outgoing. And so you don't have to be an absolutely outgoing person. So I just think that's funny what Gary said years ago, but he's actually a fantastic person. Enjoyed speaking with him, but he's going to be zooming in. He's out of Idaho. So that's going to be next week. Put that on your calendar. We've got Kimber. She's going over our Elevate Your Brand. That's Tuesday, April 26th. Our broker class, FHA and VA loan addendum, everything you need to know there. That's also Thursday, the 27th. Lead generate, like the Stern team. If you guys know who the Stern team is, they're one of the largest teams in Utah and does a ton of business. And he'll probably say this, and I've been to a lot of his classes and been sitting in your seat trying to absorb as much as I can from Josh. And he says, he holds up the red book, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, and he just says, here's what I do. Read that, and I'm just going to tell you everything that's in this book. So he's a millionaire real estate agent, and we're going to learn a bunch from him. So plan on that.
That will be like one of those parking lot days. Like,
Yeah, so come early,
yeah, like come early.
put your cones out the night before. No.
Yeah, do whatever you want. But it's definitely going to be, yeah, we have a full class.
Yeah, it'll be great. Wednesday, the 27th. Orientation, we want to make sure that if you guys have been through it or you haven't, then even if you've been here for a long time, we'd love to have you come and join us for that. April 28th. Emily Lowry is, she's talking about get real, get right. She's going to talk a little bit about the market as well. We'll cover some of those details today, but she's going to go a little bit more in depth on a full hour on that. And loving on your clients. Terry is an amazing, she's over here. April 28th, she is amazing. So she does a great job for her clients. So come and learn from her. Now we're going to get into our awards. Yes.
So I want to thank Brant for.
Hang on. We got a mic. Yeah.
I want to thank Brant for helping me out. We're under contract on an investment property, and the quote for my normal lender was 6%. So I talked to Brant, and he got me at 5.375. So that was a huge savings for us, and he helped a lot. And it's been a really great process so far. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, totally. That's a huge difference in that monthly payment. How much do you think that would change? That's 0.75% on whatever price home that is. That's a big difference. Anyone else have any shout outs? I love that. Thank you for pausing for that. Thank you. All right, so let's jump into it. We've got our first of all, the agent of the month, Bobby Wolf. Who knows Bobby Wolf? He's an amazing guy. He's one of those guys you just hope that you cross in the hallway on the way to the office or whenever you're around. But you know what I love is we have so many of those people in the office. There are so many people I'm like, I hope that I pass. I hope I pass you guys and be able to come and just say hi. So Bobby is one of those that he was on the Be Heard team. He split off, been doing his own business and has just been killing it. So he is one of those that is not only just a great person, but his business has been showing that as well. So he's one that you guys need to get to know. So let's give him a round of applause. I don't see him in the room or we'd have him come up and embarrass him a little bit. The other one is the culture icon of the month is Shelly Clark. And she is here. Come up here. So I'll look at you. So culture icon of the month is, what it means is you are a great example of the Keller Williams culture, which is what? Instead of me spouting it out, what do you guys see as the culture here? Family, collaboration, sharing, giving, all the same thing. So you are that to us, and we just wanted to recognize you for everything that you have been doing. And she always has this smile. It's almost one of those things that, yes, right? It's always painted on her face. So thank you for brightening all of our days and helping us all out. So we just want to recognize you. Thank you for being with us here. Let's give her a round of applause. All right, so we've got a few cappers. Cappers is when you hit your cap, and then everything after that is 100% commission. And we have a few things to celebrate that. So if you want a blanket or you want a capper cap.
We'll have tumblers next week.
Tumblers next week.
First quarter.
Yep. There's still some that are on order, and we are all experiencing it. Funny, you can always still blame COVID for everything. Yep. COVID be 10 years down the road. COVID. So Andrew, Emily, Brett, Jacqueline, Amber, Justin, David, and Bobby. Come up here. Yes. And don't leave a picture. You post that and your feed will just blow up. Get a picture with her. Congrats, you guys. That's awesome. All right, we've got, our Zoom, if you guys can see on the TV, these controls get in the way. All right, listings taken. Can you guys see that okay? Listings taken individual. Listings have been a little bit lower lately, been a little bit harder to get some listings, and we want to recognize, so Jared Hansen, 6 units. This is last month that he has taken. Lori Erickson, 5 units, and Daniel Peterson with 3. Listings right now are always something to celebrate, right? If you get one listing, you feel like you got the jackpot. So you get on this, we recognize you if you have 3 or more. So if you had 1 or 2, then you just need 1 more and you'll be on here next month, okay? All right, listings taken team member. This is Ryan Pettit with 3 units and Heather Roxburgh, 3 units. Congrats, teams. Contracts written individual. So this is contracts like under contract. Or this is, so Jared Johnson, 24 units. That's pretty good. Lori Erickson is also, that is excellent. 9. Annie Cannon, 6 units. Bobby Wolf, 5. Danielle Peterson, A.B. Gibbons, and Jen, that's 4 units. Let me make sure that we've got more. Clint Allred in the back. Whoop. 4 units. Ryan Poole, Jason Judd, Scott Hurd, Rob Adams, Lisa Gonzalez. And let's give all of them a round of applause. That's awesome. So this is the individual. Now we'll go to the teams. Team members. So Heather Roxburgh, 9.6, Justin Hurd, 0.6, Patria, 8, Emily, 6 right here, Ryan Pettit, Lacey Stevens, David Weiser, Cody Felberg, Alex Cifuentes, Tim Lowry, Tori Tarver, Cody Watts, and that does it for our team members. That's awesome. Congrats, you guys. That's so great. Yes. On a team, when you have a split, whatever the split percentage is. So if it was a 50-50 split, then it would be a half.
Okay.
So if you and I did a 50-50, you would get 0.5, I'd get 0.5.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Good question. That's why it is kind of, yeah. Yep. You sell a few of the bedrooms and I'll sell the living room. Contracts closed. Jared Hansen still on the top. It takes a lot to be on the top, but it takes even more to stay on the top. It's 3 units, 8 million in closed business. I'm sorry, what did I say? Oh, just another digit. 13 units. Yeah, just another 10. 8 million in production in 1 month. And then followed by Jen and Danielle, Candace, E, Clint, again, let's see. And let's celebrate these guys before going on to our team members. That's awesome. That is amazing. So team members, Heather Roxburgh, 5.5. David, Emily Hayes, Tim Lowry, Brian Hurd, Patria, and that does it for our team units. Congrats, you guys. Emily's taking pictures like, did I do that? What? That's awesome. Okay, so this year what we want to do is we've got a few medals. We want to make sure that everyone has medals. Bronze recipient, this is 2 million in annual volume. So this will change. More people will be added to the list and you can be added to the next silver and gold. But people who have reached the 2 million annual year to date volume is Eric, Candace, Brooke, Tyler, Tori, Cody, Matt, Andrew, Kimber, Cheryl, Amy, Mike, Jeff, and Annie Cannon. You guys, congrats. You guys get a medal. It is real bronze medal. Which, explain that.
So adjusted closed is that,
Well, thanks. So if you take a 3% commission, you're going to get volume for the full purchase price. If you take a 2.5% commission, you cut your commission, it's going to readjust your volume for the 2.5%. So it's going to lower that a little bit, but so it makes it a level playing field for everyone. So adjusted volume is based off of your commission percentage. And as you hit the benchmarks for bronze, silver, gold,
Yep.
Then you can collect all 3 medals each year.
So a good example of that is like a discount model, someone that might just take a flat fee, or maybe let's just say a 1% compared to someone that always does a 3% or maybe 4 or whatever. This is the way to even out the playing field between all. Excellent. Good question. Oh, there's more that I haven't. So Becky, Nate, Tim, Chris, Emily, Don, Justin, Marie, Brian, and Patria. That's still on that. Let me just make sure that. Okay, there we go. Yes. Excellent. Congrats. We've got our silver medal recipients. So this is 5 million and above so far year to date. David Weiser, Sobis, Heather Roxburgh, and Trent Bright. And we've got our 10 million and above so far, Ryan Pettit and Jared Hansen. These two. Congrats, you guys.
January, or does it start annual with your?
Annual January. Okay.
Right.
This is just year to date.
Yep, good question. All right, Crimson Club individual. Jared Hansen, we're getting used to seeing him up on top. 43 years account is the combination of closed, written, and under contract. Thank you. So if you're trying to calculate all of it, sometimes you might put something under contract. Yeah, love the technology. So sometimes it close. So units is some of that may not close. But as I've been looking at that for my business, because if you find your name up there, you're wondering how all this works. Some of those is listings taken under contract and closed. So some of those, it's different. You're not quite saying all 43 of that one, for example, or 13 or 11 is closed in 1 month. It is the culmination of all that business altogether, which spread out over time should equate to right around that amount of closings. But so a little bit of explanation on this one. So Jared Hansen, that is amazing. Just under 26 million accounted for. Danielle Peterson, 13 units, 1.7 million. And Lori Erickson hiding in the back as if she can't hear me, how amazing she is. 11 units, 5.6 units. Lori, will you come up here? We want to hear from you. No? I know she's not gonna come. So if you don't know Lori, she is very much a person that is great one-on-one and will share anything and everything with you. So stop her in the hall and see what the heck she does. But she's just a fantastic person. So congratulations. And Danielle, did I see, is she here? Just making sure I'm not missing you guys. Let's give all three of these another round of applause. That's amazing. We won't force her to come up here, but we do want to say how awesome you are. Crimson Club group. So group is 3 agents or more in the group category. That's the Roxburgh group, so 10.7 million. South Valley proper, 14.6 million, and Peak Collective, 8 million. All three. Is there anyone from these 3 teams here? I didn't see them. They're off getting work done, or on vacation. But let's give all of them a round of applause. Awesome. And we've got our team category. So this is 2 agents, producing agents on a team, as far as whether you're a team or a group or individual. So in first place, 4111, that's 8 million in production. And the Real Patria team, I don't think that's how she wants to say it, but about 5.5 million, and Be Heard with just under 6 million in production. That is amazing. That's awesome. Any of you guys, anyone here that I want to make sure I'm not missing you guys? Yeah. Yeah, no big deal. Yep. But these are people that we all need to know. So does anyone have any questions, comments, or anything around awards or production? I want to make sure before kind of shifting gears on that. Okay. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love being in a room with a lot of producers, and that's what we have here in this office, in this brokerage. If you remember the top 500 list, that's one of the things they recognize at the board. Top 500, we have more from Keller Williams than any other brokerage. I trust that if you want to build a business, you do it here. This is where you're going to have the best chance of building a business, build a career, build a business here at Keller Williams. And I've felt it myself. I'm very passionate about that. And that's what we want to help everyone with. So one of the things that I want to go over real quick is talking about the market and just putting a few things into perspective. What are you guys seeing, and what do you feel like is going on in the market right now? What's your perception? Good, bad, ugly? What do you think? What?
So this is my perception as a inexperienced agent that is just observing still, that the market is slowing slightly just because people are freaking out about the interest rates. But I know that our lender is, oh, did he leave? Okay, that I know that he thinks it's really awful, but I'm a little bit older, so 5% doesn't scare me as much because I know what it's like when it's a lot higher. And so I think if we can keep that perspective with our clients and help them realize we've had it good for a really long time, and this is definitely not great news, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And you are still going to be able to purchase a house. You may have less buying power, but that doesn't mean you can't buy. And now you will obviously have some people that it will price out of the market. But if our general feeling is more optimistic and we can keep that perspective and help our clients feel that perspective that we're still optimistic and that we're here to help them find that optimism, I think that we'll have a much more successful year.
Yep, absolutely. And that, take some time on this, is that word perspective. What is the media saying right now? If anyone's read anything on social media or anything, what is the media saying about the market right now? Verge of a bubble, crash, recession, impossible, hard. Yep, all of these things. And everything may have some, but looking at it in a perspective will really help us see a clear picture of what we're looking at. So this is, if you guys were at family reunion, this is the vision speech that Gary Keller gave on stage. And he went through, which is one of those benefits. I love family reunion, one of those, the big events for this session alone. It's so informative. So I want to point out a couple things. Oh man, I don't have my slide numbers on here. Let's see if I can.
Tyler, is that
Here we go.
available somewhere online? Because I never got to see the whole thing.
KW Connect. If you search, go on KW Connect and search Vision Speech Vision 2022. Yep. Okay, so home sales. And this is zoomed in a little bit too much. There we go. Quick on this, you guys have kind of seen this and felt it, but home sales over the last, this is the 2022 projected, which is a little bit lower. And if you look at what the media is saying, like, oh man, home sales are going down, things are plummeting. And let's say we're projected at 5.9. What does that tell us historically? You guys are feeling like everyone's saying, yeah, home sales are going down. And if we're projected, even if we're like 5.9, right around there for 2022, is that still not the third best year ever since 1990?
One of the stats that Josh shared when he taught the class he's going to teach here in Salt Lake was that the 40-year average for interest rates is 7.9.
Yeah, and I'm gonna show that in a second too. So this, there's still a lot of homes being sold. So inventory, again, that's another thing that we've been going over for the last year, where inventory is so low, it's so hard, but really it's not as much. Yeah, there is some truth to that. Inventory is lower, but is it more that homes are just being sold in 24 hours and that's why there's nothing active? Or is there truly an inventory problem? So if we're talking about there's no inventory out there, so I'm not going to go and have my clients selling, it's not my database isn't doing anything. The truth is yeah, they're still doing stuff. It's just selling quick. So inventory is lower. The active inventory is incredibly low. We've seen days on market. That stat has been incredible for the last little bit. Incredibly low. I want to go down to talking about a little bit of the mortgage stuff. So mortgage rates, this kind of goes back to what you were saying as well. So what happened in the early 80s, 1980s, we saw mortgage rates jump up incredibly. And I want to touch a little bit on inflation, because that is a huge story about what's going on today. But history repeats itself. We saw this already in the 80s. And what I'm going to do is, instead of so I'm going to show you real quick. If we just do inflation. I think, so just do a Google search on this. And let's just see what this looked like. So inflation, and here's 1970, 74, 1980. So the one thing that I don't have is overlaying the two compared to mortgage rates and what happens. But eyes right here, right around the early 1980s, and then inflation right there. So one of the things that Gary Keller was talking about pretty heavily is the impact of inflation and what's going to happen. Inflation right now, does anyone know what it is today? What inflation looks like today? Let's see if this, that doesn't give us, all right, let's just guess. So inflation rate today. Inflation hits a new 40-year high at 7.9%. Is that a problem? It is a problem. It's something that we can't ignore. It's something that we need to. So what I'm trying to do, this is not me saying doom and gloom is coming. All this, all I'm saying is we need to make sure that we're aware of what's going on so that we can be the best expert for our clients and knowing, because everyone is talking. These are the buzzwords right now: mortgage rates, inflation. What are you going to do with all your money? So as these buzzwords come up, you will look like the expert so that you can help them and educate them and give them perspective.
Okay, so I'm not an economist, so I'm gonna but what I am doing, the mindset I'm in right now is owning real estate is hedging against inflation. So if inflation goes super crazy, if you own real estate, that's going to be your best way to protect yourself from inflation. Am I wrong in that?
Absolutely.
Mindset?
If you hold cash in inflation, you're hosed.
Yeah, so even with interest rates being higher, people need to hedge inflation. They have to own real estate.
Yeah,
that's what I'm telling people.
Yeah, exactly. So your $1 today is worth whatever it is. It's on this graph. It's worth this. If inflation goes up, what does the value of your dollar do? It goes down. So as inflation goes up, really it's just saying that my $1 bill no longer is going to buy a cheeseburger anymore. Now that cheeseburger costs $2 for that cheap burger, right? And then $3 gas. So another thing to look at is if you have all of your money in cash, what does it do? So your point is if you own a house now, the value of our homes are going up, but inflation is going up as well. So let's say inflation right now is, what do we say, 9, let's call it 8%, 7 point something. So 8%, let's say that we grow by, our home value increases by 10% and inflation goes up by 8%. How much money did we really gain? If you were to sell your house and use that money to buy a bunch of cheeseburgers, how much money did you really gain? You only gained 2% on your house. But if you had it in cash, you would have lost a whole lot of money in cash. So yes, hard assets will protect you against interest, or against, I keep saying interest rate, start with an I, inflation. But the other thing is inflation is not really good for the economy. It will kill, it will kill an economy, and the government, both sides, left and right, cannot, like some inflation is good. The target is 2%. And that's what we've had over a long time, right around here. So this is healthy. Back in the 70s and 80s, it started getting high, and then it's been healthy for a while. But so that's why you always see an increase in all of your goods. Everything you're going to buy is always going to increase if we, which is a little bit healthy. But if it goes out of whack, now the dollar becomes so devalued that you see some other countries where their inflation went rampant, their whole economy just basically collapsed. Their economy, their currency became pretty much worthless. So the things that we need to, what do we need to take from this? One is talk to your investors, talk to people that are holding cash and say, you know what, buying a hard asset is a great way to protect yourself against inflation. To Emily's point right there. Another thing that we need to know and look at is let's see what happens. So the buzzword is mortgage rates, interest rates. What does the government do? They have a lot of levers. The Treasury, they have a lot of levers, and they control interest rates. They can say, I want interest rates to go up or I want them to go down. They've been really low to help the economy and boost it. And I personally feel like it's kind of had their back up against the wall a little bit in not being able to raise them. And there's only so low that you can have them as well. So there is a key point. You have mortgage rates, and we've been below that. Is this still working? We've been below that. So the historic average from 72 to 2020 is the yellow. So that's 7.8. And then the 1990 to 2020 is 5.7. So it's been a little bit lower just because of the longer amount of time it's been below at a really low interest rate. So, but what I want to point out here is in 1980, the government said, I am going to keep raising interest rates until what happened? Until we can finally quail inflation. So yes, we have a few things to say thank you to the government for putting money into the system the last couple of years so that we can all, after 2020 in March, if they didn't put some money into the system, we would have felt a recession pretty hard. But pretty much what happened, have you guys ever seen, like I think of a car, have you ever seen a car fishtail? Or have you been in a car that starts fishtailing, you start to correct it, and all of a sudden you find yourself swinging way back the other way. You start to correct it, and then you're like, you do this a bunch of times till finally you get back to normal, unless you crash. And that, I believe, is what the government has had to do. I think that's what they tried to do in 2020. They fishtailed out one side, and now we're overstimulating the market. Now a bunch of people have a ton of money. Everyone's out there buying homes. Who cares what the interest rates? Who cares about home values? I've got money to spend, and I'm going on vacations, been doing all this stuff. So that's a lot of money flowing through the system. And that's what pushes up inflation. When people are buying and there's so much money in the system. So right now, what they're trying to do, the government, they're trying to fishtail back the other way and correct and say, instead of inflation now going rampant, we need to quail some of the spending. And by doing that, the one way to quail spending is to raise interest rates. If it costs a lot more money to borrow money, if it's more expensive to borrow more money, then people will not to borrow money. So that's what we're seeing. That's what we already saw. So that's what I want to point out is we already saw this happen. My point is the government is trying to increase interest rates in order to get rid of inflation or manage inflation. And they will keep doing that until we have inflation managed. Because that's what they did right here. So that's what I'm trying to go back and forth, as if this was an overlay. Basically, the government's saying, does whatever this is, let's say this is, this is 7. So call this 8, 9, 10, maybe this is 13. So let's say this is 10% and this is 13 and that's 15. I don't know. But the point is they're saying, well, percent slow down spending. No, it didn't. All right, now let's go to 12%. Well, 12% slow down spending. So my point, we don't know how high interest rates are really going to go. It really depends on how it impacts inflation. And if we can if the government, our whole economy can help to take care of the inflation that's happening, then that's when I think interest rates will start to go back down. So this is something, the perspective, sometimes it is whether you call it good or bad, it's just whether you have the information. Now, once you have the info, now you can direct your clients in what to do with it. If you know that the interest rate or the inflation, man, I'm going to keep suffering through those two words. If inflation is going to continue to go up, then what's your prediction? You can tell your clients, you better buy today. Like if you have to buy something in the next 12 months, buy today, because your interest rate and values, I believe that for a period of time, we're going to see home values continue to go up and interest rates. And that equation we need to now talk about affordability. Because when you see interest rates go up and prices go up, usually those are inverse. But they will continue to go up until they kind of slow down the market. Affordability has, as we're looking at this right now, we have been, even with our increase in prices, because interest rates have been so low, we've still been below the long-term average, as you can see right here in the yellow line. The 80s, affordability got so high that people finally said, okay, I'm done. I'm out. I'm not going to buy anymore. I'm going to pull away from the table and I'm going to protect my chips and I'm going to wait for a sunny day. So that's when we'll see some decrease in property values. However, if you look in Utah, it's something that we can search. Is this helpful? Is anyone like, okay. Because I'm starting to like geek out and I'm going into my own rabbit holes and I'm hoping that it's helpful. Some people it's like, okay, this is like, I'm checking out, I'm done.
Yesterday and I went off on the like MRA math and then I looked up and I was like, well, we talked about that for longer than Sorry about that.
My intent in this is to walk you through the thought process of, I don't have all the answers. And that's why I'm saying, let's find it together. I already did the search before because I'm like, this is helpful. If you need to be the local economist and the local expert for your clients, then I'm hoping that this is just an exercise to say, all right, let's take some excellent knowledge from Gary Keller and from the market and take the perspective from the media and say, is this true? Or is this a national media? And how can I use this to educate my clients? Yeah, that we kind of have to geek out on this stuff a little bit. I mean, I geek out sometimes. Some people might have to suffer through it, but I think we need to do that. Now I totally forgot what I was going in on. What was I looking up? Utah. Yes, Utah. What was it? Yes. Let me see if this will. Man, I totally just took us down a rabbit hole and then lost us. So, but it wasn't affordability. It was something that I was gonna look up. But the point is when, yes, this is what it was. So let's just say it was home values. Because here's the thing what do our clients want to know? They want to know when is the lowest so I can buy and when is the highest so I can sell. And if we can answer that question for them, or at least point them in the right direction, then you guys will look like heroes to your clients and you'll have a forever. So Utah home, this is actually the best way. Does anyone know their login to the I might need help because I have it saved. I'm trying to think if this is gonna, yeah, Nick, will you come log in? I'm one of those that like when it tells you have to set it and I'm like, all right, let's just add another this or add another that. And pretty soon I have no idea what it is. Okay, thank you. So instead of Googling it, I want to show one of the resources that we all have access to. Let's go to statistics and go to home sales graph. And this data goes back to, they started recording it in 1996. So let's do that. And let's just do Salt Lake County because a really large data feed will take forever for it to pull up. Let's just see what that looks like. 96, just because if you go back and you search, the farthest back that you can search is 1996. All right, it is thinking. So what it's doing right now, it's going through, oh, it actually went faster than I thought. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit like that. And then some of these, if you want, you can take out quarters and it won't be so overlapped. Let's just do, let's do third and first quarter. So that's usually kind of a high and kind of a low in seasonality. All right, it's thinking. So as you're going through this, people want to know, what are home values going to do? Should I buy something now, or am I peak? Yet, then you need to have more conversations with your clients, because they are all thinking it. So kind of ignore these first couple dates, because I think this is just the data. They're getting their act together, the MLS. So start kind of right here. So as we see this, one of the things that I calculated the other day, because I was just curious, is right around this high. So we all know, and everyone from 2007 and 8 and all of that, and everyone's worried that's going to happen again. Clients are worried, is what I'm saying. And then we saw the lowest. So the low point in home sale price, that's the blue line, is 176, and the high price right there. Let's get a calculator. So if you're trying to figure out what the change is, so that's it was 176 to 233. So if you divide it and then you subtract 1, that's kind of, there is another calculation way that you can do that, but that is a decrease of 20, let's call it 24, 25%, just around it. So if we're looking at 25% decrease in the worst decrease that we have seen be a part of our lifetime, then 25%, yeah, that's significant. It's something to worry about. But at the same time, you can look at that and say, all right, if I am buying at the peak, I'm buying here. And then how many years did it take in the worst case example that we have in our recent past? It took, this is 2007 to roughly 13. So that's what, 6 years? So 6 years to come back to break even in worst case scenario. But what happened this past year? So if anyone bought a home, let's say you've got a client that they're like, hey, I'm worried about it. I bought a home, or maybe they want to do a 1031 exchange. Maybe you're talking to investors and they're worried about decreasing values. How much did we gain last year in appreciation? What's that? 32. So some areas were higher and some were a little bit lower, but I think it averaged out about 25% increase depending on location. But so that's in 1 year, we gained in value as much as the worst case scenario lost value over 6 years time. You can make a lot of deductions as far as what to do with all that info, but the point is people are always worried about losing money and saying now is not the right time to buy. Now is not the right time to be in real estate. But any of those people that bought their home, and as long as my personal conversation with my clients is, if you can afford it through storm, if you can weather the storm at whatever price and interest and monthly payment that you have right now, then buy. You will look like a genius. Any of those people that bought a home at 233 and they kept it to today, they look like a genius, right? We all want to be the amazing person that bought at the lowest point. We're all trying to target that. But the point is there's too many people that sit and wait. How many of your clients sat and wait a few years ago and said, nope, we're at a peak? This 2 years ago, and they said the bubble's going to burst. And then we all saw 25% growth, and now they can't buy anything because they can't afford it. So the truth is on some of those people, if you need to talk to them about that, then the point is how do we get the information? And this one, if you want me to go back to this, what I found home sales graph. And all I did is just go back and I did no, I didn't even do single family. This is including townhomes and condos. It was just Salt Lake County. This is one of my favorite graphs to show people because it also, which is the green is supply and black is demand. And that's a whole nother conversation as far as when they separate, then that's when prices go down. When they are together, or demand is like when they are in line dancing with each other, then what happens to price right after? If anyone saw this, if you are looking at the stats let's say every quarter, every month, and you saw the black and the green line, the dots, If you understood and know this graph, you would be able to go to all of your clients and say, buy, 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 because prices are going to shoot up. At the same time, if you see a huge separation between supply, again, homes listed, and demand, homes sold, then if you want to be a hero to your clients, you say sell, because prices start to go down. Looking at the data and how to educate your economist. And sorry, the mic's annoying. Okay, we're wrapping up, but yeah, Jake. I don't know if they're floating around. Thank you.
So another thing, if you guys are nerding out about numbers and you want to brag about KW, I'm trying to find it, one sec. I pulled numbers from last year. In 2020, KW was #1 for volume and transactions, and for 2020 and 2021, and the number raised as far as volume, which matches with the rise in the home value. But to give you the numbers, one sec. KW #1 in Utah last year, we did 5.03 billion in sales volume. That is more than $1 billion in our runner-up. And we had #1 in transactions, the units sold, which is more than 11,000 than the runner-up. And we had 9,251 units sold for KW in Utah.
So what do we take from that? We rock. Who said that? Yeah.
So list with KW.
Yeah. So here's the thing, if you're newer, we've all been there, newer in real estate, or if you just want to level up your listing presentation, that the own credibility for your own personal stats, use KW stats. Or let's just say if you in your listing presentation, how much stronger will your listing presentation if you've got some of these things and you're putting the right perspective? Otherwise, they're going to get all their information from the media and social media. And if you come in, you say, well, yeah, they're saying that, but here's what the actual facts and all the data is showing. Let me show you what our local area is doing. Just for the sake of time, but the way that there's a couple things that I wanted to make sure that I hit today, and one of those was perspective. Make sure that not only are we listening, we hear all this stuff too, and careful, we start to feel the doom and gloom that the media wants to put on us, right? So that's one thing. Put that into perspective and realize that, yeah, maybe it's a little bit doom and gloom. The media, we're still in the top 4 in ever for home sales. The number of homes being sold, there's still so much business going on out there that we can still get our unfair share, even though things may slow down. So we're going to talk about this and strategies in we've got a series coming out that will have classes in all this to make sure that we're all ahead of the market and our business are continuing to grow in this time. The second one is how can you look like the expert for your clients and make sure that they are seeing you as the knowledge. And then 3, how can you use this for your own business? And that's this third one is if you want to level up your listing presentation or anything like that, then throw some of these slides in there. People will do business with you because they like you, trust you, and think you're going to do a good job. Most of the time, if you're doing business with your SOI, you've already got the first 2 taken care of. They're going to like you and trust you. This part. And then usually it's the third one is, do we have credibility? Do they think we're going to do a good job? If you're brand new, I know I didn't feel like I had a lot of credibility when I was trying to get things going. I didn't have anything to my name and saying, this is what I did. So what if you put some of these in there? And this is not for anyone that's brand new. This is, we can all level up our listing presentation or our buyer consultation. We throw some of these things in there, and what do they automatically see? See that you're pretty freaking awesome. you've got credibility going through the roof. I don't even care how much experience you have because you know what you're talking about. All right, I can keep going forever, but is this helpful? I'm hoping it is a little bit.
Do you have any information on like wage growth in Utah compared to affordability?
Yes, that is. I believe that is one of these as well. Let's see, this one was inflation wage. This is national because this was at the, oh, real wages. This one is interesting. This kind of tells you, this is national, not in Utah, but, and I'm sure. Oh, this is, okay, I take like 20 more seconds. Anyone who likes investment properties and buying rentals, I started to go down this like, okay, I'm a little bit worried about what's going to happen. And should I buy something? Am I buying an investment property really high? If you go back and you search in Utah specifically, the rates historic, the lowest that I could see based on the census or whatever the reporting was, and hopefully it was all credible because I'm, kind of basing a lot of my decisions off. The lowest that I've seen it decrease was $50 on average. $50 in rental rates. Now, that's a whole completely different conversation. But if you have that knowledge for your investors who are saying, I don't want to buy high, you say, well, what's going to happen right now with rental rates? If people can't buy homes, they got to live somewhere. They're going to have to rent. So that's why rental rates are going to go up. That was, I don't know, it was like 10, 20 years, at least. Yeah, it was through all of that. That's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know, like, as home prices start to dip and everything else goes to pot, what's my investment doing? Are people still going to pay me rent, or am I going to decrease on rent and I'm going to be in the hole? No, you can buy your investment properties, make sure that they're cash flowing positive, maybe just put at least a $50 buffer in there. And historically, based on all the data that I was able to find, that's the lowest that I saw the change from a high to a low. Other than that, and that was only for a short period of time, and then it went back up. In rental rates, if we have a whole nother conversation on that, but that's exciting because that's all. If you own investment properties, then you should be looking at increasing your rent right now, because if you haven't looked at it in a year or more, odds are you've got a few $100 that are just sitting there that you can just say, hey, I just got to increase this, and people are clamoring over rentals right now. I just had to sell. I did a 1031 exchange and got kicked out some renters and bought a different one. And he said that he had so many landlords that didn't even get back to him when he was looking for another rental. Yeah, I feel bad. I really liked him as a tenant. But the point is rentals are still really hot and still really good investment right now. Okay, I've gone a little bit over time, but I love this stuff and love being able to make sure that we have the right perspective and knowing what we're talking about. So if there's anything else that I can help with, then please let me know. And I would love to sit down because I love geeking out on it. Otherwise, lunch is in the back, and thank you for all being here. Intralend sponsor the lunch. Thank you, Intralend. Emily, this is, so what I found on this is because inflation goes up. If inflation